Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to episode number 3 in our Tajweed workshop series. Today we will learn about heavy and light letters. As always, the lesson will be divided into 3 sections. We will have the theory, followed by the practical application, followed by a recap. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'd. So today we will cover lesson number 3, heavy and light letters. So in Arabic, when reciting the Glorious Qur'an, there are 3 types of letters. There are heavy letters, there are light letters, and there are conditional letters. Those that are sometimes heavy, sometimes light. By heavy, we mean how full they are in the mouth, whether they make a full sound, and by light we mean an empty sound. So sometimes you will hear them be called heavy letters and light letters, or sometimes they will be called full mouth letters and empty mouth letters. The majority of the letters are light. It is a lot easier than it sounds, believe me. So let's take a look at the heavy, the full mouth letters. There are 7 full mouth letters: kha, sa, dad, ghain, ta, qaf and dha. Or an easier way to remember them is the phrase khussa daghtin qidh. That's khussa daghtin qidh. Khussa daghtin qidh. So if you remember khussa daghtin qidh, you'll remember all the full mouth letters, the 7 full mouth letters. The heavy letters, the full mouth letters, are full and heavy because they have the quality of isti'la, which is raising the back of the tongue when reading them. We will cover sifat, characteristics, things like isti'la and hams and jahar, rakhawa, shidda, tawassut, things like this in later videos in this series, inshallah. Depending on when you're watching this, it might already be on the screen now. The reason why the khussa, daghtin, qidh letters are full mouth is because when we say them, a part of the back of our tongue rises up and touches the roof of our mouth. So it makes a full sound. Kho, kho, kho. Can you see the sound stays in my mouth? Kho, kho, kho. If I say a full mouth letter such as kho, so, do, the sound is staying within my mouth. Kho, so, do, gho, to, ko, vo. The sound is staying in my mouth. But if we say a light letter, the sound just comes out of the mouth. It's very light, my tongue's not raised, everything's fine. Sin, fa, shin, waw, ya, noon. Any other letter basically. So we have 7 letters. Khussa, daghtin, qidh. These letters are always full mouth. They always have a heavy sound. The sound always stays within the mouth. Do note that if a mad is preceded by a heavy letter, so if we have a heavy letter and then after it we have mad, then the mad will also be full mouth. Mad is to stretch, a stretching word. I mentioned this here only for the purposes of completion. We will cover all of it in this series, inshallah. I mentioned it here for students who may already be familiar with what mad is. And now we move on to light letters. The rest of the letters, apart from ra and the lam in the name of Allah Azza wa Jal, are always light. This is because they have the sifa, the quality of istifal. When we pronounce the light letters, we do not raise the back of our tongue as we do when we read the heavy letters. Instead, the tongue is just down. As I mentioned, we'll cover all the sifat characteristics later on in the series. I mentioned it here for the purposes of completion. But what you do need to know is that full mouth letters, the full mouth letters, the khussa, daghtin, qidh letters are full, they're heavy. Whereas the rest of the letters apart from ra and the lam in the name of Allah are always light. So now we move on to some practical application. We will recite the surah inshallah, and we will focus on the full mouth and the light letters, and we will also cover what we've learned so far, such as qalqala and ghunna. We proceed. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق قل أعوذ برب الفلق Qaf is a full mouth letter. Remember, the full mouth letters are Khassa, Daghin, Idh. Qaf is from amongst them. So Qu is not Qul, it's Qu. The Qaf is full. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq. And now if we look at this second Qaf, we have Qalqala, which we covered in the previous video, Qalqala Wusta, the medium Qalqala, and we have Qaf, a full mouth letter. So it's a medium Qalqala, which is also full mouth. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق من شر ما خلق. خ خ خ, full mouth. ق, once again we have a Qaf, which is full mouth and medium Qalqala. من شر ما خلق. We notice the rest of the letters are light. من شر ما خلق. I'm not saying mu, shoy. I'm not saying خلق. The lam, the meme, the noon, the sheen, these are all light. It's just the kha and the qaf that was heavy. من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب. So we have the ghain, which is full mouth. So we have the ghain, which is full mouth. We have the qaf, which is full mouth. And we have another qaf here, which is full mouth. And we also have a ba here, which is qalqala. Because I stopped on it, it is qalqala wusta. ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر النفاثات في العقد. We have a noon here with a shadda on it, so we do ghunna for 2 harakat. ومن شر النفاثات في العقد. We have a qaf here, which is full mouth, and we have a dal here, which is qalqala wusta. ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. So in this last ayah there was no full mouth letters, they were all light, but we did have one qalqala at the end here, hasad, because I stopped on it. Now I will read the surah again. So I'll read, you pause it and read after me, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. We'll have a look at one of the conditional letters now, which is lam. This is the lam, the letter lam in the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. So if there is a fatha or a dhamma before the lam in the name of Allah, such as it, for example, in the word Allahumma, then it is full mouth. Also, if we're starting in the name of Allah, then the lam is full mouth. For example, Allahu Akbar or Allahumma ghfirli. So that means if it has a kasra before it, it is light, it is empty mouth. So the easy way to remember this rule is the lam in the name of Allah Azza wa Jal is always full mouth unless it has a kasra before it. So let's take a look at some of the application for this. Wallahu, wallahu, wallahu. The lam here is full because it does not have a kasra before it. It has a fatha before it. Next example. Yasha Allahu, Yasha يشاء الله. The lam is full. It doesn't have a kasra before it. Next example. سبحانك اللهم. Once again we have a lam. We have a lam in the name of Allah. So it's Subhanaka Allahumma. It is full mouth. It is full mouth because it does not have a kasra before it. It has a fatha before it. Also here at the end Allahum, we have a mim with a shadda, so we have gunna for 2 harakat. In the next example we have Qalu Allahumma. Once again we have a lam here in the name of Allah Azza wa Jal, and it does not have a kasrah before it, so it's full mouth. If the word qalu wasn't here and we were reading just the word Allahumma, we would put a fatha on the hamzatul wasl. So remember, qalu Allahumma. This lam will not be full mouth, whereas this lam is qalu Allahumma. Can you hear the difference? Qalu Allahumma. Qalu Allahumma. Next we have billahi. 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 We have lam here in the name of Allah, but it's light because it has a kasrah before it. Billahi. Billahi. Next we move on to lillahi. Lillahi. Once again we have a lam here in the name of Allah, and it is light mouth because it has a kasra before it. Next we have dinillahi. 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 We have the lam in the name of Allah Azza wa Jal, and before it we have a kasra, so it's light, as we do in the next example. Qulillahumma. Qulillahumma, because we have a lam in the name of Allah Azza wa Jal, and before it is a kasra. So to recap, Arabic letters can be heavy and they can be light, and there are 2 conditional letters which can be heavy or light depending on certain conditions. These are the lam in the name of Allah. As we've covered, if the lam in the name of Allah Azza wa Jal has a kasra before it, then it is empty mouth, it is light, otherwise it is full. The second one is ra. Ra can be full mouth or light mouth. It depends on a number of conditions. These are a little more detailed, so we will dedicate a separate video for that, inshallah. As for the letters that are constantly heavy, there are 7. These are khussa, ضغط, قض, kha, sad, ضاد, ghain, ta, qaf and dha. These are always full mouth. These are always heavy, and the rest of the letters are always light. We also touched on if there is a mad after a full mouth letter, then the mad is also full mouth. And of course, if one of the qalqala letters is full mouth, then that qalqala will also be full mouth. If it's light, it will also be light. And with that, we'll end this lesson, inshallah. I hope you've taken benefit from it. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and to share this with your friends and family. Share the gift of learning to read the Quran with them. Inshallah, you will get reward, I will get reward, and they will get reward. Let's all share the rewards together. But with that, take care, and I'll see you on the other side, inshallah. Ma'as salama. Take care.